Welcome to how to make the perfect cup of loose leaf tea. Why loose leaf? Well, the quality of loose leaf is always better than what you find in a commercial tea bag. The difference is pretty much the same as instant coffee to freshly roasted Arabica beans. They come from a different part of the plant, they're higher in neutrals, and they're much better in flavor. So there are a few things to consider when we're talking about making a cup of loose leaf tea. The water quality, tea is 90% water, so that's important. The steeping time depends on what teas you have, and then what kind of vessels do you use. There's so many choices out here, so don't be intimidated. It's really quite easy to do, and it's very rewarding because you are going to get a better product. A couple of things we don't like so much are the traditional kind of hotel method, where you would just have a teapot and you would add the tea leaves straight to the pot, put some boiling water on it, bring it to the table, and then depending on the tea, after the perfect amount of steeping time, you pour it through the strainer, maybe a little bit more elaborate than this one, and you have a perfect cup of tea. The problem is, after a few minutes, the leaves are still in the pot, they continue steeping, they get bitter, your second cup is going to be pretty nasty. The other method that you do have an infusion, you have a control over the infusion over, is this little guy. It's a pincer. You can put the leaves in here. The problem with this is it's very small, it doesn't allow you to make more than one cup, and also the leaves can open up, they don't release their flavor so well. So this one is out too. A couple of really good methods are, we have the travel mug here. So that's really easy. You would add probably about a heaping teaspoon of leaves to something like this and put the water on top. You can add sugar or milk at that time if you like. Then just close it, you're out the door, and after a few minutes you press it down, the leaves are down here, and you can start drinking. This works really well for most teas, not so great for really finicky green teas that get bitter very easy. Same idea as the French press. It's originally made for coffee, but you can do herbal teas in there, or what I really like doing in here is lattes. So you just add the leaves, some sugar, hit it with some boiling water, and fill it up with hot milk, and then after a little while you can press it down. So if you're making teas in here, they are still going to steep because they're still in contact with the water, so green teas, black will get bitter. Herbal teas it's actually quite good for. Same idea, but made for tea, is the tea press. You can see that the perforated line here stops. So that means once you add your tea leaves to it, your hot water, after a few minutes you press it down, the leaves end up below the water line, no more contact, therefore it can't get bitter. So these are good for any type of teas. One of my personal favorites is still the traditional type of cast iron teapot with a infuser in it. You just take that out when the tea is ready. Cast iron is great, it doesn't break on you, keeps the heat really nicely, and you'll have that forever. Really good as well is the paper filter. I really like those because they're fantastic for traveling. You'll find them a lot used in restaurants. Very easy to deal with. You would just add 1 teaspoon per cup of tea, depending on what kind of tea you like, and close it and off you go. So this is really good as well if you have friends at home and everybody wants a different cup of tea, different type of tea, then you can just use these guys. I always have one with me when I'm traveling. So these ones, this is a tool I would highly recommend for everybody to have because it's very versatile. You can just make a single cup, just add 1 teaspoon, or if you're making a large pot like this is 2 liters, then you probably need about 8 teaspoons for that. And you can take it out when the infusion is ready, very easy to clean, very durable. So this is great. So that brings us to the water quality. I always recommend use freshly drawn water. Don't use hot water, use cold, fresh drawn water because it doesn't go through your water heater. So it's less processed, and freshly drawn water has more oxygen in it, it has a more lively flavor in the tea. Ideally is filtered water, so you take some of the impurities out of it. So freshly drawn cold water filtered is best. The steeping time depends a little bit on the tea. For something like the white tea here, we recommend water below the boiling point, so about 80 degrees. It's not rocket science, just let the kettle sit for a couple of minutes once it's boiled, and then use that water. Steep for about 3 to 5 minutes. White teas you can make multiple infusions with. Green tea is the same idea, they are a little bit finicky, so you like maybe 80-90 degrees, 1 to 3 minutes depending on the type of green tea, but that should serve you well. These are oolong semi-oxidized teas, very interesting teas. They can take a bit more heat just below the boiling point or even boiling, about 4 minutes steeping time, and then take them out. Black teas, full boil, so you want the water to be at a boil, and then 3 to 5 minutes depending on how you like your tea. If you like it straight, I prefer 3 minutes. If you put milk and sugar in it, you can go to 5 minutes. Herbal teas such as chamomile, peppermint, or rooibos, or fruit teas, we go with a full boil and 5 minutes or more. They don't get bitter, so no problem here. That was it for today, and thanks for joining us at T-Squared.